This is Shoots and Scores Hockey Talk, where we talk everything hockey. I am John.
Now, Mike,
I'm Chris.
All right, guys, let's go. Now, our first topic for discussion tonight is, of course, the playoffs. How can you not talk about the playoffs? And I'm just glad that they're finally here. It's like I've been waiting all season for them. So, we're going to start off with the first round in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I'd like to touch on all 8 series tonight just to give our listeners a little taste of what's going on. I want to start off with the Canadiens and the Capitals. And what do you think? What can you take away from the Canadiens and Capitals first game, Mike? What do you think?
I think Washington got off to a quick start, which definitely helped them out. I didn't watch a ton of that game, I'll be honest with you, but they started off really well. Montreal started to play better as the game went on. Ended up getting the game tied to go to overtime, and then uh, three Montreal players like to watch the play in the corner while Ovechkin was picking his nose in front of the net, and there went the puck, and in the net it went. So I think he lost a couple teeth in that game. Did he get high stick? I saw someone
I
put a
watched.
post up that he got hit in the mouth, and
You know what? I didn't see. I watched most of that game and I didn't see it, but
okay. Well,
but he.
maybe it was from a different game, but someone had put a post up that Ovechkin got two teeth knocked out and
Oh,
still went
well,
on and scored in overtime. So
not only that, but so Washington ended up winning the game 3-2, and Ovechkin had 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist, so he was in on all 3 goals. And they said that was his first playoff overtime goal. I was shocked.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
And I
a little
mean,
bit
with the
surprised.
Capitals as well, Logan Thompson hadn't played in a couple of weeks there, 2 3 weeks. So to have him get back in, I really think Montreal needed to get on him right away to test him in his first game back and try to get on them quick. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. So, um, and then once Washington had the lead, they didn't give it up until the Canadians tied it there later in the game. So
The Montreal Canadiens, the most third period comebacks in the league this year. Did it surprise you that they came back and tied it? I mean, Washington was up 2-0.
uh, with the game being relatively low scoring, I mean anything can happen. So I mean 2 goals, it's not in my opinion, it's not a huge comeback. However, to go down two and then get back in the game showed that they're not going to get pushed over in this series. So it should be a fairly good battle moving forward. I expect the games to be fairly close. It's probably not a super high scoring series. I don't see happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if the games were kept close. Now, they're going to be kept close and Montreal's actually going to win multiple games, that's to be seen. But
Okay, so you're still sticking with the Capitals to win the series.
absolutely, yes, that's sticking with Washington.
Okay, Chris, let's go on with you. Did you see anything with the Hurricane Devils that caught your attention, other than that your Hurricanes are leading 2 games to none?
hmm Yeah, well, game one is your typical games against the Hurricanes, right? If you don't bring energy, if you're not ready to play hockey, Brendan Moore always makes sure those guys are ready to go and they got the right players that are always ready to go for that come playoff time. So game one pretty much played out as I think we expected. And as usual, game two, the other team, the losing teams usually put a better effort, and the Devils did.
Yes.
The game was a little bit more balanced. But there's the big key, I think, for Carolina doing so well historically at home um, is the last line change. They mentioned it, the crew, the announcing crew kind of mentioned it, and it's so true. When you have last change and you can put Stahl and Slavin against your team's best line, they're going to have a tough time. And I feel bad for Nico Heischer a little bit because anytime Stahl gets within within 3 or 4 feet from him, he's done. It's over, right? He leans on you, and Heischer's can't skate, can't do anything else. I know they did make an adjustment by putting Bratt on the other line to try to get away from the Slave and Stahl matchup, and Bratt did score a goal. Yeah, he scored that goal, the first goal in that game. So going back to New Jersey, things are going to be different right now. They don't have last change, so Heischer's probably going to get a little more time and space, and Last few years, Carolina has not done well on the road. And we'll see what happens here. But hopefully they can at least pull one off and then finish it off in 5.
Okay, so obviously you're still picking the Hurricanes to win, but you think
Of
that they
course,
could
Whitey, what kind of
lose.
question is that? Of course.
Well,
I've got a question actually for Bagel
Oh,
for this.
go for it.
So the goaltending, was you surprised that they started Anderson or?
I was.
no, because Brendan Moore tends to favor the veterans. He's very loyal. And that's why Nikishkin hasn't been put in the lineup either, right? And I think the other big one was Jankowski got scratched, right? I think after he scored whatever it was, 7, 8 goals in 14 games. But he went with Rosovic because Rosovic's been all there. So, no, I'm not surprised with Brendan Moore's decisions so far with the lineup.
Okay, all right. Mike, what about you and the Leafs and the Senators? One of my favorite series, of course. The series goes back to Ottawa now. Are things going to change up a little bit in Ottawa after a pretty close game last night in game 2?
Well, here's the thing that I think Ottawa needs to do is much like Montreal, they need to get on Toronto quick. They cannot be starting each game losing. In the first game, it wasn't even close. So, granted, they made it better last game. However, Toronto were they up 2-0 to start off last
Yes.
night?
Yep.
Yeah.
2-0.
So um, they can't. They're not a team. I don't think that is gonna battle back and win games when they get down too much. I mean, luckily last night they kept it, you know, closer by only giving up 2 goals and then getting back in the game. However, um, Allmark didn't really look great in game 1, and he didn't start off great last night either. Um, Stallers has looked pretty good both games. So I mean, with uh, with the Senators, they've got to start off better. They got to start off quicker. They've got to start off with the lead going back home. So if not, you're going to see more of the same here because I don't think Toronto uh, is going to lose this series to begin with, and if Ottawa's just going to let them score the first goal, second goal, third, who knows? It's not gonna work out well for them. Um, Ottawa's got a bit of a younger team compared to Toronto.
They
Toronto
are.
obviously has some playoff experience. Not that they've excelled in the playoffs lately, but they've got the experience that they know what they need to do. Um, I think they're going to handle Ottawa pretty easily. I don't remember what I predicted for this series, whether it was 5 or 6 games, but it might even be quicker than that. Who knows the way it's been going so far?
Okay, all right. And it's just one thing that I was wondering because Ottawa has not been in the playoffs. I believe it's 7 years they were not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the team has not been in the playoffs at all. If now them going home actually puts more pressure on them.
I don't know if it puts more pressure on them. I think going back home, they might have a little bit more jump to start the game off, which they need to. Teams, like I said, it's a younger team. The defense is young and inexperienced. Other than Sanderson's their best defenseman, and he's only been in the league a couple of years. So I mean,
Right.
they really need to get off on a better foot here going back home.
Okay. All right. Well, lastly, the Eastern Conference, Chris. How about those Panthers and the Lightning now? I
Just
watched that
one,
game last night. I was
uh,
shocked. What do you
yeah,
think?
one comment before that on the Leafs and the
Sure.
Senators. Just on the analytics that we talked about last week about the series and what we expected, it's happened. The analytics have predicted this, right? Ottawa was going to control play, generate more chances, but Toronto was going to score on the least amount of chances. And so far, that's playing up to what the analytics kind of predicted for that series. Yeah, Panthers Lightning. Well, historically, I've always said game 1 is pretty meaningless, except when the road team wins, because as we know, a series doesn't start until you lose at home.
That's right.
Um,
I agree.
Vasilevsky, after the last 2 playoffs and the season he had, I think we all assumed that he was ready to go, and it didn't seem like it last night. But I feel pretty confident that he should be bouncing back. And Panthers probably had a big boost with Tkachuk coming back. I saw him chirping most of the game, being an idiot like he does. But I expect that, Tampa should bounce back here in game 2, and then, but we have a series because Tampa lost, so we have a series here. And six, I don't know what we predicted on this one. I know we said Tampa, but I think could be 6 or 7 in this series.
I believe you guys said 7. I think.
Yeah, I know I said 7 because I'm torn over that one because, like I said, I want Florida to win, but I just think that they struggled so much down the stretch that last night's game surprised me as well. So was not expecting that,
A
especially
lot of
when we
teams,
had
a lot of teams struggled down the last couple of weeks that
yeah,
were in the playoffs, and then they seem to be able to flip that switch when the real
I
game
was.
starts.
6 goals. I
wasn't
think we had 6 goals on 16 shots or something at one point.
right.
So I mean
I,
that was totally unexpected.
I wasn't expecting the Panthers to have so many damn goals last night.
Hmm.
But I mean, look, they're a good team. If you look past them, and just think, oh yeah, we can beat those guys, you're gonna
Yeah, they've
you're
got a
gonna
lot
get
of depth.
burned.
So
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, it was certainly it really surprised me, but that's okay. Now we're gonna go on to something else that surprised me a little bit here. Of course, our second topic is the Western Conference. Now, Mike, the Avalanche and the Stars series. What do you think? I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I don't expect
um,
Colorado to win all these games either, but Dallas looked pretty good there that second game.
the second game, yeah, Dallas actually looked better, but game one, it was Colorado was all over them, and Dallas didn't really have an answer for Colorado in game one. They were moving the puck well, using their speed. Um, the goaltending was good. Game two, and I mean Colorado was just pounding Ottinger with shots too. So some of them were a little weak that went in on them compared to what you would think
Mm-hmm.
normally. Game two, though, Dallas looked a lot better. I really do think that they were lucky to win that game. I really thought Colorado was going to win that game as well, and then Dallas ended up scoring in overtime. Kind of Colin Blackwell scoring, who's a fourth line player. Little surprising. Wasn't you know a great scoring chance. Like the shot wasn't overpowering. He just kind of just got it on the net and then managed to go in. So I mean, but Dallas looked better. However, I think going back to Colorado, I think Colorado's going to step up and probably win the both of the games at home. Although there's talk that Heiskanen might be in the lineup for the next game, so that could make a bit of a difference for Dallas. Although I still think Colorado's going to win the next 2 games.
Okay. All right. Now, Chris, Edmonton and LA, I know that's probably your favorite series in
Mm.
the whole world.
Oh yeah, we got some boys here that they got some teeth into this one.
Now, Edmonton came back in the third period the other night, and I will admit I was in bed for the third period. They tied the game late. I mean, I figure most people watching are probably thinking, oh, this is going into overtime. LA breaks out, scores on a horrible, horrible shot. I know it obviously fooled, and he didn't stop it. What do you think of this mess? It's only one game,
Uh,
obviously.
Skinner, do I really need to say more than that? We talked about, well, my opinion, he's a below average goaltender. Oilers management should have been well aware of this, and they decided to run it back with him again. I almost feel like, again, like we spoke last week, this is the Kings' best chance to beat this team. Um, and if McDavid and Leon don't dominate, it feels like they don't dominate every game and put up 3 or 4 points per game. I just don't see the Oilers winning. And even if they somehow get past the Kings, like it's just not sustainable. They're asking a lot. And I know one of the analytics came out for that particular game, and the Oilers defenseman got smashed. Like there's no other word to say than they just got destroyed, right? And Darnell Nurse and Jake Wallman were really bad. So um, I just don't know how much Dave and Leon can do to carry this team for victory. So no, I still feel pretty good with the Kings. I know the third period didn't look great, but 2 superstars took over the game. Sometimes there's not much you can do. Hopefully they'll have a better game plan for that going forward. But shout out to Sean. I still believe in the Kings.
All right.
And the Oilers got Vander Kane coming back too next game after missing the
I
whole
don't
year.
know. I saw that he
Uh,
was projected to be on the second line. I'm like, really? What kind of shape is this guy going to be in? I mean,
what kind of
geez.
shape is the Oilers in if they're putting him on the second line? That's the real story.
Oh, they're in great shape, Chris. They're just trying to make room for warm bodies. That's it. All right, let's go on to the Jets and the Blues. Now, they've played 2 games. The Jets are up 2 games to none. The score was close in that second game, but the play, I thought, in the third period was not close. Mike, what do you say about this series? Do you agree
Yeah,
with me? Do you find that it just seemed like Winnipeg was dominating more than what the score showed?
I thought Winnipeg's puck possession was much better than St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis is another relatively young team as well. Most of their guys are, some of them it's their first playoffs. So, I mean, they do have some rookies in the lineup there too. Snuggerud scored a goal in the last game. But I think that Winnipeg controlled the play well. I thought the Ehlers injury would hurt them a little bit more than it so far has. Hellebuck's played pretty good, so
Yes.
with with him playing well, the team just needs to score enough goals. I mean, if they can score 3 goals, they're probably going to win the game because I don't think St. Louis is going to score a ton on them, but St. Louis needs to win some low-scoring games in order to get into this series. I don't see this as a super high-scoring series, and if any of those games happen, I'll be a little surprised. But I'm expecting like lower-scoring games, like 3-2, 3-1, maybe 4-3, but a relatively low-scoring series, just the way that it looks like the teams have been playing so far. So, um, yeah, but credit to Winnipeg. They actually, I was expecting a split in the first 2 games, and Winnipeg ended up winning both games, both very close games. So, but good on the Jets to go up 2-0.
So I was watching that game and I was watching the third period, and the Blues couldn't generate offense in the third period when they needed that goal.
Yeah,
They just couldn't. And I thought, man,
I thought there was a lot of broken plays too, where
yep,
it looked like they were gonna get something going, and then a pass gets intercepted or they lose control of the puck, whatever the case may be. But it's something for them to work on, like finishing plays and that sort of stuff to generate some better quality chances because you're not going to score if you're not in a high danger zone on Hellebuck. You're not going to get very many goals unless he's totally screened. So you need
right.
to get those shots from the high danger areas to have a hope of winning
They,
some games in this
they,
series.
they couldn't get anywhere near the high danger area in the third
Yeah,
period, not as far as I saw anyway.
right.
Man, and I believe they had a power play too, and they couldn't generate much. And I've never seen a team as Winnipeg. They seem to be able to dump it down the ice and clear it without icing the puck. They seem to do that quite a bit. They're very good at it anyway. So, okay, lastly, the Vegas Knights and the Wild. Now, Chris, any takeaways from this series so far? Now, I didn't realize that they were playing this afternoon. I got home from being out, and the game was already over. I didn't even know that it had happened. So the series is tied up at 1 game apiece. What do you think?
Yeah, Kriprasov, right? He's returned.
And
He is
he
their
is a
star
hell of a
player,
good player.
and that line,
Oof.
I think it's him, Brody, and can't think of the third guy right now, but yeah, they've that's game two. He really stepped up. They took care of the. They've tied it up 1-1. He's the wild card of the series, right? If the Wild win this, I'm sure Kriprasov will end up with 12, 13 points, something of that nature. But again, we have a series. The Vegas Golden Knights have lost at home. Now they got to go to Minnesota and try to take at least one to keep it get the advantage of home ice back in their possession.
Has your outlook for the series changed since that game was
No,
Well, since it's
I'm
talking
pretty
about
sure I got
Vegas.
Vegas still to win this. Yeah. Yeah.
You think the same thing, Mike? I just thought maybe one of
Yeah,
your
I
maybe
still
your
think Vegas is going to win this series. They're going to win one in Minnesota for sure. If they win two, then it makes it even easier. But I definitely think there's at least going to be a split in the next two games.
Okay, all right. Now that is all 8 series, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about those series? Chris, is there anything else you wanted to say about any of that?
Um, I think for the Jets and Blues, I'm sure you're going to see a different Blues team in Game 3 on home ice. I know they didn't, as you said, they didn't look that great in the third period, but I'm sure they'll be juiced
No,
up and amped up to go in Game 3. And if they, well, they have to win, right? When you're down 2-0, it's a must win game. So I'm sure they're going to bring a lot of energy to that. Anything else on these series? Montreal, Washington. Yeah, just wake me up when that series is done. That's all I got to say about that.
we have a lot of people that listen to us that are very, very excited about that series.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but that's when I get my nap.
Mike, do you get your nap on the Montreal Washington series or what?
Well, like I said, didn't watch I was kind of watching some of that game off and on because I think I was watching baseball that night too. So, but
Go Blue Jays.
so but the other thing I want to bring up is looks like Colorado's going to put Landeskog in the lineup for
Yes, I
the
heard
next
that. Yeah.
game. So I don't know if they announced who is coming out yet, but they said that they're leaning towards putting him in. So that we'll see how that goes. And just to add on to the Carolina New Jersey series, I've watched both of those games, and
As you should.
New Jersey doesn't have a chance here. To be honest with you, like the first game was not even close whatsoever. Like Carolina had the puck possession far more, and New Jersey just looked sloppy to me. Like too many turnovers. The power play hasn't looked good. I mean, I believe they scored one power play goal, but Carolina's got this series wrapped up. Anderson only had to make a few good saves, like really good saves. Other than that, I didn't find that he was really well tested. So um, this series could be over really quick.
Okay. All right. Well, then if you guys are done with that, we'll go on to our hockey profits segment where you two are the hockey profits. At least that's what I'm telling our listeners. Are you ready? Now we're going to do it a little bit differently this time. We're going to go with Mike first. Usually I go with Chris first, but tonight we're going to go with Mike first. Are you ready, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay. Number one, Mike, hot or not? Austin Matthews, is he hot?
yeah, I would say so. He's played pretty well the first two games, so yeah, for sure, I would say he is. That whole first line has been playing pretty well.
Number two, Chris, do the Capitals have their hands full with the Canadians? So I'm not saying that they're going to lose, but do you think they have their hands full?
Yeah, 100. Yes. Right. This is playoff hockey. Montreal is going to play hard. I can't remember what number he said. Number of comebacks in the league so far this year and regular
10.
season. So yes,
10 in
yeah.
the third period. So
Yeah. No, they're going to push them. Right. There's no cupcakes in the NHL playoffs. So
okay,
this isn't
except for
basketball.
last year. Except for last year.
Hmm.
Number three, Mike, what series has been the best to watch so far, do you think?
Well, geez, they're both pretty short so far. I would have to say probably the Dallas Colorado series.
Yeah.
I like the pace of play. So either anytime that they get a chance in the offensive zone is a chance that one of these teams is going to score. It's not really you're not going to see a lot of dull play where it's just moving the puck around. They're generating chances. So I think this is the best series, and I think it's really going to push Tampa and Florida, as those should be the top two series in my opinion.
Okay. Number four, Chris, Are the Hurricanes going to win Game 3 on the road? Are they going to win that Game 3? Put your reputation on the line and tell us, will they win Game 3?
I have a feeling they're going to win Game 4, but Game 3 could be going the Devils' way.
Okay, all right. No faith in your team. That's all right. Mike?
No, his history tells me they don't do well on the road, so... And
I understand.
I think
Go with your
the
analytics.
last change, they're going to score some goals. But yeah, Game 4 might end up being the one that they really have to win.
Okay, number 5, Mike. How many more linesmen are we going to see leave the ice with an injury in the first round?
I don't think we're going to see any more.
I think I've seen
That's a more of a fluke thing than anything. It's just so rare that I don't see any more happening.
I was like, what? Here we go again. This happened again. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't think there's been any fights, has there?
I don't remember seeing any, no.
No, just some of the roughhousing after the whistles, but I don't think there's been any fights yet. So,
okay. And last but not least, number 6, Chris, and I'm sure you guys will be glad when this is all done with. Chris, who is the worst looking team right now that's in the playoffs?
Oh, it was the Devils after that Game 1. And it's probably still the Devils.
Yeah. I think you can say the Devils quite easily there. So at least Ottawa, like you said, Ottawa's playing okay. Like they're getting lots of chances.
Ottawa's doing, I can't see the coach in Ottawa being unpleased with the play. It's just the results aren't there right now.
All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add? Any of your anything that you're looking out for maybe tonight or tomorrow or whatever?
For me, for a non-playoff topic, is front office news.
If you guys
want to talk, if you want to talk about the Seattle Kraken and my boy Ron Francis. Probably one of the best things the Canes did is when Tom Dundon came in was to fire Ron Francis.
Most underrated player in NHL history, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. Love him as a player. GM? Yeah. Very conservative, not willing to take risks, right? That's been his MO. Now he's gone to the Kraken, and he's taken a few risks, and they've been terrible, right? They've been absolute terrible contracts. But I guess the old boys club in the NHL is still strong because he gets a promotion. And the cherry on the top is that, he brought in Jason Botterill. Jason Botterill and the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know if you guys remember what he did there.
I do.
Destroyed them.
Oh, yeah. 60-point seasons, 3 in a row. He made the Jeff Skinner trade from Carolina, right? And he gave him $9 million contract. Skinner is a one-trick pony. You don't give a one-trick pony $9 million because if he's not scoring goals, he does nothing for you. Carolina knew that. They said, we're not going to pay you that. Traded him. And then he's like, I don't understand some of these organizations. I don't, it's bad. It's bad. Like, I feel bad for the Kraken. He gets good players, but he's not willing to go get a real, like Chandler Stevenson. Who was offering Chandler Stevenson 6 years at $6 million? Who? What team out there was doing that? Nobody.
Maybe the Flyers.
7 years, 40. I was like,
any team it would have been the Flyers, but no.
It could have been the Flyers. Could have been the Flyers.
They already fell for the Kevin Hayes mistake. I don't think they were going to do it back to back. So, and I mean, Botterill too. To add on, I mean, he gave away Ryan O'Reilly to St. Louis to go win the cup over there. So,
some people say that he got Tage Thompson, but nobody at that point in time thought Tage Thompson was going to be a first line 45 goal scorer.
40 plus goals, yeah.
Nobody, right? He was still not producing at that point. So I don't know. And but the Kraken, if Botterill comes in, he has to make a franchise move, right? He needs to do something with that organization. because Ron Francis' way wasn't it. Now he could be a little handcuffed with all the contracts they've pulled in. Um, they need to do something, or they're just going to continue to be a non-playoff team for the next few years. Um, I know they didn't get a first round, like they don't have a first overall pick. Bernier, I don't know if we're going bust yet with him, but he doesn't seem to be that good. It was a weaker draft when they drafted him. Wright, again, good player, but not a star. So yeah, Kraken has some work to do. That's all I can say about that.
And it's a shame because their first year they actually made the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably part of the problem is that they made the playoffs, so they thought they were probably ahead of where they actually are. And then they're bringing in, they brought in Stevenson, like Chris said, not a good move for the money.
The goalie was terrible from Colorado. Another guy, they gave him 6-year deal, right? It's like, who's offering 5 years? He was terrible that year. Like,
yeah, the Grubauer move. They brought in Montour, who is a good defenseman, but
they already have Vince Dunn.
Yeah, so Vince Dunn's their power play guy, and Montour was Florida's power play guy. So there's not room for two. We've seen this on how many teams, like
2 right shot defensemen.
Not room for two. Like you look at Pittsburgh, they got Letang and Carlson. Guess what? Well, you're only going to get production out of one of them. Same thing with when Carlson was with San Jose with Brent Burns. You're only going to get production out of one of these guys. It's so it's you. To bring in Montour, I don't think was the best fit for the team. I thought they should have just built with some of their youth, but I think they tried to accelerate the team a little bit faster than what I think they're really ready to do. Because I don't see them as a playoff team for a while. I mean, Joey Decords played good, but he was a third stringer in Ottawa, and now he's a starter there. And give him credit; had a great season, but. I don't know that team. Not quite sure. Now, the other thing I wanted to throw out there too is some other front office moves. The Flyers fired all their assistant coaches today. So,
did they?
They did. No Rocky Thompson, he's gone. No,
I didn't hear that.
Williams, he's gone, and they let another guy go that was part of the coaching staff too. Bradshaw's still there. They haven't determined what they're doing yet there. So,
are you happy about all that?
Yeah, these guys did nothing to help that team score. Like we need guys that know offense. Rocky Thompson, if he had 10 career goals in the NHL, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
He was a goon. He threw more punches than points. So,
well, you need goons at this stage in the NHL, though.
So I think, and with Vancouver not bringing Tocchet back under their clause that they had that they could have brought him back for one more year. I think he's leaving to go to Philadelphia. So that's my guess there. I think they'll retain Shaw as probably one of his assistants, and then they'll let him hire or have a say in who else gets brought in. And on top of that, Peter Laviolette got canned by the Rangers as well.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
I'm surprised this didn't happen much sooner to give them a jolt to try to get in the playoffs. I really thought that this was going to happen in January, and it didn't. So
to their detriment.
Now. I think if they had made the move in January, it might have been better for them, just to change the dynamic, I guess. And apparently, word is that they re-signed Chris Drury to a long-term extension today.
Did they?
As the GM.
For all the great work he did?
I'm not a fan of his moves either. I mean,
nope.
But we'll see what kind of dysfunction happens next year with the Rangers. So,
well, maybe you should get a hold of some of your Flyer people and get a hold of Chris Drury and get him on our show, and we can grill him and ask him why he makes such bad moves.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Would you be up for that, Chris, if we could get Drury on?
Well, the good move is that he did get JT Miller fairly cheap. He didn't give up a ton to get JT Miller, so So that'll be helpful. But yeah.
They've
All
got
right.
a few holes to fill.
All right. Well, I think we'll end it there for tonight, folks. So like, share, and subscribe, and comment in the comment section and let us know where we went wrong, because I'm sure we did something wrong tonight. And we will see you next week. Later.
See ya.
Later.